According to Wikipedia, the word communitas is a Latin word that means either an unstructured community in which people are equal, or the very spirit of community itself. For our purposes here, we will stick with the latter definition. In the simplest terms, communitas means community. Communitas is the first of the 3 practices of transformation in our framework. We just finished the 3 principles of transformation. Principles exist whether you believe in them or not, and whether you do anything with them or not. Principles are essential for transformation, but they are useless unless you actually put them into practice. If we want to see sustained transformation in our lives, we should treat these 3 practices of transformation as very important missions in our lives. What is the practice of Communitas? Intentionally participating in and creating opportunities for connection with other people. This practice leads to more frequent connections, which means developing more relationships. As those relationships deepen, trust is cultivated, and trust opens the door for engagement. Engagement is transparency, vulnerability, and accountability at a level that is appropriate for the relationship. Engagement transforms lives. The more people you connect with, the better the odds of you developing deeper relationships and experiencing trust and engagement in some of those relationships. At the same time, the more people connected to you, the more opportunity there is for them to develop engagement with you, which will transform their lives as well. In this way, the practice of Communitas becomes a real win-win mission in life. The practice of Communitas has 3 particular actions, which should be done in order, over and over again, as a transformational rhythm in your life. The first action is see. It is really difficult to see what we are not actively looking for. The principle of radical teams encourages us to see everyone who intersects with our lives as an opportunity for connection, especially those we interact with on a regular basis. We can see more people when we use our own life experiences to look for common ground, leveraging both good and tragic life experiences to build bridges. We must also see people as having intrinsic value outside of their capacity to help us out, because the principle of masterpiece applies to everyone we interact with. The second action is include. Before we can invite someone to participate in an activity with us, we should seek to make them an acquaintance. Acquaintance starts by initiating a conversation. The conversation should be natural, but also very intentional. We have a very important mission, creating a connection, and that mission is important enough to remember the person's name and some details about the conversation. The third action is adjust. In order to include effectively, we must make adjustments to our priorities, our schedules, and our plans. At the same time, we have to maintain appropriate boundaries and allow trust to be cultivated organically without forcing it. We also need to adjust our thinking. If Communitas is really an important mission in our lives, then the pattern of our thinking should clearly be affected. The practice of Communitas is a key driver for transformation in your life and in the lives of others. What can you start doing differently in your practice of Communitas? What can you measure to gauge your ability to intentionally participate in and create opportunities for connection with other people? Who can you share these measures with? Next up is the practice of mirroring.